My name is Barb Wixom. I am a principal research scientist at MIT's Center for IS Research at the Sloan School. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm here representing my co-authors, Leslie Owen and Cynthia Beath, and we have a book coming out, Data is Everybody's Business. This book represents close to 30 years of research. Yes, for 29 years, I have investigated how organizations create value with data. We know a lot now about how this is done, and it's time to share with everybody because today it's not just a data leader or a data unit, but everybody in an organization who has to play a role. I'm sure you feel that there's a lot of data to work with today because there is not just all of the data in systems across our organization, but if you think about mobile and social and Internet of Things and all of these new data sources, there's really a lot of data at hand. But just like water, we wouldn't drink all the water that we see as we walk around. We want data that's fit for consumption. It's the same with data. So it's not data that we really care about when it comes to creating value, it's data assets. And data assets are data that the organization invests in, puts practices towards to improve so that the data becomes accurate, secure, relevant, combinable, available. And data assets are what we use and we want to create value and monetize from. Now, data monetization, it's more than creating value, although that has to happen. Creating value and creating benefits from data is kind of step one. But then once we create value as organizations, we want to realize value. We want to create bottom line impacts that affect the financial health positively of our organization. Today, it's becoming more important for us to really think about this because we're investing a lot in data. There's a lot of money that we have to put into data. And so we have to make sure that we get money out as well. And we're already seeing in our research that this is important for organizations. If you look at top performing firms, and this is top performing firms in terms of financial performance, growth, profitability, innovation, speed to market, those types of measures, and compare them to low performing companies, we find that top performing organizations, they attribute 10% more of their overall revenues to data monetization, to data. And so we're already seeing that this is an advantage. And so all organizations, again, really want to start taking data monetization seriously. Here's the good news. There are 3 approaches to monetize data. So although you could probably come up with thousands of use cases of how data can create benefit, when it comes down to really thinking about how you and your organization should be monetizing, there are 3 approaches that you want to think about. And the 3 approaches we call improve, wrap, and sell. So I just want to take you through each one. Improving with data is when we use data analytics in order to make work better, cheaper, faster. Let me give you an example. OXXO, they're a convenience store chain in South America, and they created a data asset. So they took their data and they prepared a data asset that could inform SKU level profitability of their products, which as a retailer is a really great data asset to have. And what they did with that data asset is they made it usable across the organization so that, for instance, people in store operations could use dead net profit in order to set how many hours the different stores should remain open. People in advertising and marketing could use dead net profit to determine sales strategy for different products. People in supply chain could use dead net profit in order to better negotiate with their suppliers. So dead net profit for OXXO is making work better, cheaper, faster in a number of different ways. They were improving with data. Now, what's important, as I said, is not just creating value, all this value I mentioned, but realizing it. And so at OXXO, what we would be doing to really check on data monetization through improving is to make sure that we're seeing a reduction in headcount, or an increase in inventory turns, or a lower cost for what we're buying from our suppliers. These would be the ways in which we would actually track and measure whether we're improving in effective ways in monetization. The second way in which we can take data and convert it into money is by wrapping our existing products in data analytics. And any product can be wrapped. A bank account can be wrapped. Think about all the mobile apps and features that we add to different services that we have online. In this particular picture, I'm showing a picture of a medical device. And so a lot of medical devices for patients, they're using data analytics in order to help a patient, for instance, improve the state of their health. So let's say I have diabetes and I'm using a device in order to monitor my blood sugar. Data wrapping could manifest as a patient experience or patient features that do things like give me a report through the day of what my blood sugar level is. Or maybe I receive an alert as a data analytics wrap that says, go and exercise or eat a snack because your blood sugar level at this point, we predict that something's going to happen that might be dangerous for you. And so wrapping is when we are using data analytics to enhance the value proposition of our product, an existing product. And what we're hoping is that the user of the product is going to pay more, buy more, or stay longer, maybe even attract new types of users and consumers. And so with data wrapping, we are very excited about making sure we understand the needs of our customer, of our offering, and delivering to make them delighted. Selling, I save that for last because a lot of times when people hear about data monetization, they think first of selling and specifically selling data sets. But in fact, selling information is one of the three approaches. And it's not just selling data sets. In fact, today I would even argue that selling data sets isn't that appealing. What's more appealing is creating informational solutions based on data sets or based on data assets. One of my recent case studies, and one that we feature in our book, is a small informational business that sells information about medical products to hospitals to help them in terms of their medical costs, the spend on medical products. And so for Healthcare IQ, they estimate that a $100 million hospital could reduce costs by $5 to $8 million in the first year by using some of their solutions, which would be things like how much more they're paying than they should be. What is their pricing relative to other hospitals in their peer, grouping, or are there products that can be substituted if one is not in stock? This was actually a really important problem, especially during COVID. So that's an example, and hopefully what you're able to feel is the difference in these three approaches: improving, wrapping, and selling. Very, very three different ways, but all very viable ways. And when an organization puts together a data monetization strategy, in effect, what they're doing is they're making choices regarding which approaches make sense for data monetization in their context. For instance, if you're an organization and you're very much going after a strategy of operational optimization, then you might be encouraging everyone across the enterprise to consider to improve work with data analytics. Whereas if you're an organization where you're very much into improving your customer experience, if you really want to deliver a delightful new way of servicing your customers, then wrapping might be something that you're encouraging. Or you could be an organization where you want everyone across the organization to consider improving wrapping and selling in the way that makes sense for where that person is in the organization. I think the key here is that data is, like I said earlier, not just for a head of data or a data unit or even IT. Data is for everybody. We need product owners, process owners. We need entrepreneurs, business development people involved. We need people doing work to either help us build data assets or exploit them in different ways as work is getting better, cheaper, faster, as products are being enhanced, as new information solutions are being created. And so I like to say, we like to say that data is a team sport, and we need everybody involved in that sport. And because of that, we want to give some advice, for those of you out there in terms of how you can get involved, because we hope you will, since it is your business, we think. First, just learning about data is a first step for many people in business these days and many people in organizations. And there's so many resources to help you. There are classes you can take. You can build a dashboard and start using very small steps in order to incorporate data analytics into what you do. And you can read a book. Hopefully, one of the books you read will be Data is Everybody's Business. The next thing you can do is you can start to pay attention around the measurement and monitoring of data monetization within your work context. Start paying attention to what kind of difference data analytics can make, not just in terms of added benefits, but also for bottom line impacts. And for that, it's really important to understand how things were, what was done with data analytics, and then with the state of the after. So you can really kind of get a sense of how much change that data can offer, data assets can offer. And then finally, of course, we're going to encourage you to improve, wrap, or sell, get involved with a project. What's nice about initiatives as organizations start investing in these different monetization pursuits is that there's a lot of learning involved, and what might seem vague or conceptual becomes very real when you start practicing. So I'll now pass it on to Brett Henry for closing remarks, but thank you.